Golden Retrievers are the most popular family dog in the world. Everyone knows them as happy, friendly, easygoing. But there's an emotional side to this breed that almost nobody talks about. And if you miss it, you'll never fully understand the dog living in your home. We talk about Golden Retrievers like they're simple dogs, always smiling, always fine. But behaviorally and neurologically, Goldens are one of the most emotionally complex breeds we live with. And a lot of what people call easy temperament is actually something much deeper and much more fragile than most owners realize. Let's break it down. They feel your emotions before you express them. Here's something that sounds exaggerated, but it's backed by research. Golden Retrievers don't just respond to your emotions, they absorb them. A 2019 study published in the journal Learning and Behavior measured cortisol levels in dogs and their owners over several months. The findings were striking. Dogs, especially breeds with strong social bonding instincts like Goldens, showed cortisol patterns that mirrored their owner's stress levels. Not occasionally, consistently. When the owner was chronically stressed, the dog was chronically stressed. Not because anything was happening to the dog directly, but because they were emotionally syncing with the person they were bonded to. Goldens do this more intensely than most breeds because of how they were selectively bred. For over 100 years, they were specifically developed for close cooperation with humans. Retrieving game required reading the handler's body language, staying calm under pressure, and maintaining constant awareness of the human state. That sensitivity didn't disappear when they moved into family homes. It just shifted its focus. Your Golden is reading you all day, your posture, your breathing, the tension in your voice, and they're adjusting their internal state to match yours. They're not just sitting next to you, they're carrying what you carry. They hide pain and stress remarkably well. This is the part that worries veterinary behaviorists the most. Golden Retrievers are exceptionally good at masking stress. Because they're so people-oriented and so eager to maintain social harmony, they will suppress their own discomfort to keep the household calm. Dr. Nicholas Dodman, a veterinary behaviorist at Tufts University, has written extensively about this. Breeds like Goldens often won't growl, snap, or show obvious signs of distress until they're well past their threshold. They'll tolerate things that are genuinely overwhelming: loud environments, rough handling from children, separation for long hours, and appear perfectly fine until they're not. And this is where people get blindsided. The dog that never showed a single sign of anxiety suddenly develops compulsive licking, digestive issues, or withdrawal. Veterinarians see this pattern constantly in Goldens. The problems seem to appear out of nowhere, but they were building quietly for months, sometimes years. That easy temperament, in many cases, it's actually a dog that's incredibly good at suffering in silence. The tail is wagging, but if you look at the eyes, at the muscle tension around the mouth, at whether the wag is loose and full body or tight and rhythmic, you might see a very different story. They grieve harder than people expect. There's one more thing that catches Golden Retriever owners completely off guard: how deeply they grieve. When a family member leaves, whether it's a person moving out, a child going to college, or another pet dying, Goldens don't just adjust, they mourn. The ASPCA conducted a study on companion animals and grief and found that 66% of dogs showed 4 or more behavioral changes after losing a companion animal: reduced appetite, sleeping more, searching the house, waiting by doors or windows. Goldens tend to fall on the extreme end of this because their bond isn't casual, it's their entire emotional framework. They organize their daily life around the people and animals in their home. When one disappears, the structure they depend on collapses. And here's what most people miss. They don't just grieve death, they grieve absence. A change in your work schedule, a family member visiting less, even a shift in your attention. Goldens notice and they feel the gap. They won't bark about it, they won't act out, they'll just get a little quieter, and unless you're paying attention, you'll miss it entirely. So what does this mean for how we live with them? Check in, don't just check on. A Golden that seems fine might not be. Look for the subtle signs: changes in sleep, appetite, how they greet you, where they choose to lie down. Protect them from your stress when you can. You don't have to be perfect, but if you're going through a difficult stretch, know that your dog is going through it with you. A calm walk, a few minutes of quiet time together, it matters more than you think. And respect their grief. When something changes in the household, give them time. Give them extra presence. Don't rush them past it. They wouldn't rush past yours. Golden Retrievers are not simple dogs. They are emotionally intelligent, deeply empathetic animals that feel more than they'll ever show you. The world calls them easy. The truth is, they just make it look that way. Pay attention to what's underneath. You owe it to them. If this gave you a new perspective on your golden, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.